Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the agenda for the City Planning Commission for May 21st. Please call roll.
Commissioner Woodard,
Present.
Commissioner Michelle,
Present.
Commissioner Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Taylor,
Present.
Commissioner Shook,
Present.
Commissioner Stodchill,
Present.
Commissioner Dias,
Present.
Commissioner Black,
Present.
Chairperson Taylor, we have a quorum.
Thank you so very much. We'd like to start our, We'd like to start our meeting out with the Planning Commission's creed and approval of the agenda by Commissioner Woodard.
The Newport News Planning Commission is mandated by state law, and its members are appointed by City Council. Section 15.2-2210 of the Code of Virginia states, in part, that every locality shall create a planning commission in order to promote the orderly development of the locality and its environment. The statutory purpose is to improve the public health, safety, convenience, and welfare of its citizens, and to plan the future developments of the communities. In serving this statutory purpose, the Commission invites the comments at public hearings of its interested citizens of matter before it and welcomes your presence. Chairperson Taylor, I move we should adopt the agenda before us.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we adopt the agenda. We'll all show by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And the agenda is accepted. Next, we have the invocation by Commissioner Michaud.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for the opportunity that we have to serve our great city. And so we ask today for your guidance as we make decisions that would honor you and serve the citizens of Newport News. In your name, amen.
Amen. Next, only we have the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Black.
Please stand and join me in the pledge to the flag and to our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Next, we've had the minutes. We received the minutes for our May 7th Planning Commission meeting and our City Planning Commission work session on May 7th. Is there, commissioners, do we have any corrections? Any additions? Hearing none, I'd open for a motion to accept the minutes.
Move that the minutes be approved as submitted.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Again, I'll just go with the show of aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed of the minutes? Thank you very much. We'll move on to our public hearing. I'd first like to declare the public hearing open. The first case that we have before us is a conditional use permit, CU TAC 2025 TAC 0001. Correction. CU TAC 2025 TAC 0003. Ferguson Enterprises LLC and Costco Wholesale Corporation. And that will be presented by our city planner, Mr. Saul.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We have application CU 2025-0003. Ferguson Enterprises LLC is the owner, and Costco Wholesale Corporation is the applicant. They are requesting a conditional use permit for the construction and operation of an automobile gasoline supply station in conjunction with a retail wholesale establishment, Costco. The properties are located at 12500, 12490, 12470 Jefferson Avenue and contain 20.23 of the total 32.37 acres on this site. North of the property, we have vacant industrial parcels and Ferguson warehouse on property zone M1 light industrial. To the east, we have the City of Newport News General Services on property zone M1 light industrial. South, there is a vacant parcel zone M1 light industrial. And west, there are the Jefferson Marketplace Shopping Center on property zone R9 mixed use, Hall Acura dealership, auto repair, and the Cookout Restaurant on property zone C2 general commercial. The One City, One Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan land use map designate office uses for the properties. Despite the zoning of the property has always been maintained as industrial, in keeping with the zoning for the overall airport property. The zoning is what permits the proposed use as a matter of right and requires the approval of a conditional use permit for the fueling station component. The property has been zoned M1 light industrial since the citywide comprehensive rezoning became effective on August 1st, 1997. While the wholesale retail establishment is permitted by right in the M1 light industrial zoning district, as I mentioned earlier, an automobile gasoline supply station requires the approval of a conditional use permit. The zoning ordinance requires a 20-foot wide transitional buffer area between industrial and mixed use and commercially zoned areas, which occurs along Jefferson Avenue. The site regulations require that a landscape strip be located along all street frontages. A 16-foot landscape strip is required along Jefferson Avenue, and a 12-foot landscape strip is required along Bland Boulevard. The Department of Engineering Transportation Division reviewed the April 2025 traffic impact analysis prepared by Kittleson and Associates and concurred with the findings of the document. The Virginia Department of Transportation has reviewed the TIA and concluded that it was acceptable. City departments have no objections to this request. Ferguson Enterprises owned and operated the property since 1996. In 2021, Ferguson relocated its entire operation to their new headquarters in City Center. Since then, the buildings have remained vacant. Costco intends to redevelop a 20.23 acre portion of the property to accommodate a 163,000 square feet retail warehouse and a gasoline supply station with 16 pumps, allowing for 32 fueling stations and queuing space for up to 70 vehicles. The remainder 12 acres will be divided into 2 properties to be sold in the future. As part of the original development of the campus, an approximately 30-foot wide landscape strip was created along the street frontages. A tree survey must be conducted to ensure the preservation of mature trees, and an encumbered 20-foot landscape transitional buffer area along the roads, as well as a berm or other appropriate design devices to screen the parking lot at the corner are being conditioned. Existing landscaping will be supplemented to provide natural screening for the new warehouse and parking. The proposed improvements include the construction of a metal-clad warehouse building and metal canopy over the gas pumps. The design and materials of these items will be reviewed and approved by the Director of Planning as part of the site plan process. The traffic impact analysis found that there would be increases to the traffic counts, and specific recommendations were made for improvements that will ensure there are no changes in the level of service of the city infrastructure. Those improvements must be completed prior to a certificate of occupancy being issued. The business plan indicates the pumps will operate from 6 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. In conclusion, the proposed use is consistent with strategies from the One City, One Future 2040 comprehensive plan. Because of its location along a major corridor and intersection within an area of light industrial uses, the proposed automobile gasoline supply station, in conjunction with a retail wholesale establishment, should not negatively impact the surrounding properties. In addition, the recommended improvements and conditions required will lessen the visual impact on the use along the corridor. Hence, it is recommended that City Planning Commission recommends to City Council approval of conditional use permit CU 2025-003 to allow for the operation of an automobile gasoline supply station at 12500, 12490, and 12470 Jefferson Avenue with 24 conditions that include a Class 1 site plan shall be submitted to and reviewed by the Site Plan Review Committee and approved by the Director of Planning. Property owner shall file a boundary line adjustment plat to create 3 properties that include the 20.23 acre to be redeveloped for Costco. The 2 other parcels on the remaining 12 acres will be sold. A landscape plan shall be submitted to and approved by the Director of Planning. The applicant shall submit building elevations and exterior building materials to be reviewed and approved by the Director of Planning. The applicant shall cause all traffic improvements, including road construction, as well as signalization installations, as stipulated in the traffic impact analysis. All improvements shall be completed prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. There shall be no freestanding signs on this property. All other standard conditions also apply. All 24 conditions are detailed in the staff report and will be part of the ordinance if approved by council. Are there any questions?
Commissioners, any questions for Saul?
I just have a quick question. So if there were no gas pumps, it would be by right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Williams.
2 questions. Number 1, if I'm seeing all of this correctly, the landscape plan, it was improved since the work session. It seemed like a lot more trees and stuff being being added to the Jefferson side. Is that correct?
From,
From what we saw at work session, from what we're actually seeing today?
yes, there is supplemental vegetation.
Yeah, they,
And then my only other question is, the Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Transportation did note the concern with coming off onto Jefferson, going northbound, and it is always busy. Are we still committed to doing that extra exchange as they recommended to help alleviate that traffic?
Yes, that is something that is being pursued by our Department of Engineering. I was looking to see if anybody was here. I know they had a conflict and they would have been here today. But yes, we are planning on doing the Denby Boulevard interchange, and it is currently under design.
okay. Any,
I have
yes,
a
sir.
question too.
Commissioner Smith.
How will the cars that are waiting to be fuel be queued? Because at the current location, when they're backed up, they queue into the parking lot. There's no way for it to spill over onto the street. So when they queue here, I'm not able to, it might just be from my lack of experience.
They will be queued within the parking lot.
They will be queued within the parking lot. There's no
Yes.
risk of it spilling over into the street.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I think we have a presentation coming out too.
And I failed to tell you that the gas pumps are only for members, so
Yes.
this is not something that will be available to everyone.
Okay. Any more questions for Saul? Well, thank you, Mr. Garcia. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've already opened up the public hearing, and for this item, I have one card, and that would be Miss Lindsay Carney, I'm sorry. Please come forward and state your name and your address.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman,
Good afternoon.
Commissioners. My name is Lindsay Carney. I'm an attorney with Carney Patterson Mead. Our address is 12350 Jefferson Avenue here in Newport News. With me today is Renee Rutherford, the Director of Real Estate for Costco Wholesale. Chris Teasler is the Senior Principal Engineer with Kittleson and Associates. And Kester Kelly is the Senior Project Manager with BL Companies. I do want to first thank you all for deferring it to this meeting. I think that there is some improvements in the landscape plan that I'm going to address and some other things that we can talk about from which you've seen at the initial work session where we previewed this. I'd also like to thank Saul for his work on this project. You have seen an evolution since day one. That has been done in tandem with Saul and with Flora and Sheila, so thank you to them as well. I'm not going to try to be redundant with what Saul has said, but there's a little bit of just supplemental information that I'd like to share with you. What you see here is the current Costco location. This is a leased parcel at the intersection of Oyster Point Road and Jefferson Avenue. The warehouse is an inline warehouse location. There are other retail uses at the site, and it is a shared parking arrangement. The zoning there is C1. Again, it is not owned by Costco, but leased by Costco. The warehouse that exists there is 135,000 square feet. There are 397 parking spaces and queuing for 35 vehicles at the current gas pumps. This is the Costco relocation site. As you can see, Costco is purchasing Headquarters 1, Headquarters 2, and the Ferguson showroom sites from Ferguson. The two rear parcels that are owned by Ferguson will remain owned by Ferguson. This new parcel is zoned M1, so the warehouse use is a by right use on the new site. But the CUP, as Saul explained, is required for the fuel pumps. This is our conceptual site plan. On this plan, it will be fee simple ownership by Costco. So in other words, Costco is purchasing the land and the existing buildings from Ferguson. This will enable a 163,000 square foot warehouse space, so it's about 30,000 square feet bigger than what they currently have. The current site is underparked. I'm going to talk to you about that in just a second. It's undersized for all of the services they provide, so the new site will enable all of those services to be enhanced for the customers. This site has 828 parking spaces It is not any sort of shared use parking arrangement, so that is solely for the Costco customers. 32 fuel stations. It's actually slightly more than 70 vehicles that can be queued in the fueling stations, and they all will queue on-site. They will not spill onto Bland Boulevard. Saul mentioned there are 2 surplus land areas. One is in the rear of the Costco warehouse site. The other is on the southeast side of that Costco site. As Saul mentioned, this conditional use permit is only applicable to the 20.32 acres that the warehouse site will sit on. You don't see that rear parcel nor the southeast parcel as part of this exhibit. That is just showing you where these conditions are going to be applicable to the Costco operation. This is our conceptual landscape plan. Commissioner Williams, from the last that you've seen, the trees at Bland Boulevard and Jefferson Avenue have increased to a minimum of 3.5-inch caliber. The evergreens have increased to 7 to 8 feet tall at the time of installation. Additional trees were added to create a denser canopy. And priority was given to where we locate those evergreens to move them closer to the road, so it does provide a dense screening as you're traveling north on Jefferson and turn on Bland.
So, Ms. Corney, while you're moving
Sure.
to this, I'm sorry, quickly. So we plan not to remove any of the trees that exist there today?
That is the plan, yes. But we are doing a tree survey to ensure that those that have to go because they're diseased or dead will be removed.
Okay.
I just wanted to point this out to you because this is a little bit different from what you saw in your last packet. This is to show you that if you are traveling northbound on Jefferson Avenue, so basically from the bottom of your screen, you see that dense vegetation on the right side. That red line is located on the surplus land that Costco does intend to sell. The red line denotes the 100-foot Chesapeake Bay Resource Management Area. So there will likely be very dense trees that must be preserved in that area, even if this is sold and developed, because they're located within that RMA.
Can I ask you a quick question, Lindsay? So south is airport land, south
Correct.
of the red line.
South of the surplus land is airport land.
Okay.
Just a little bit about the building elevations. This is a building rendering to show you what the building materials are going to look like. On that left side of the building is where your tire service area is going to be, just to give you some orientation. And there's your tire center there. These are the renderings of what the fuel pumps will look like. Traffic impact analysis. Saul did discuss the fact that we submitted a TIA that was prepared by our traffic engineers. After several rounds of back and forth with the city traffic, Newport News Transportation Engineering, that TIA was approved by the city. And in fact, we do have a VDOT concurrence letter that also concurs with the findings and the recommendations in that analysis. That letter is in the packets that were distributed to you. Just to touch very briefly on some of the off-site improvements that Costco is going to make in order to assist with the impact that we will make at the intersection. Costco recognizes we will put traffic at that intersection, but these off-site improvements will mitigate that impact. At the site entrances, we're going to do enhanced storage and tapers. At Jefferson Avenue and Bland Boulevard, we're going to extend the southbound left turn lanes from 200 feet to a full 350. So if you are turning left on Bland,
From Jefferson.
from Jefferson coming south, we're going to extend those 2 turn lanes such that if there's traffic backed up going straight, it won't block you from queuing in the left turn lanes. At Jefferson Avenue and Boykin, this is going to be the main entry to the site. So still stay with me. We're traveling southbound on Jefferson. You have Jefferson Commons on your right. Currently, you cannot make a left turn lane onto Boykin. We are going to put a left turn lane there, which is also going to require a light there and the extension of the masthead. So that's going to be going into the site from Jefferson. We are also putting an extended pedestrian refuge there, such that if people are crossing from Costco across or the other way, they only have to go halfway. They can refuge and then cross to the other side of Jefferson. And then, of course, there's the associated traffic signal timing that goes with all of those improvements.
Lindsay, back up before you move. The slide before, traveling north on Jefferson. Do I see that you got a turnoff, you got an extension for turning in from the right?
That's
A
correct.
right turn, so you're gonna widen that also?
That's correct.
So you can pull off the, okay. Now the question I have, there you go.
There we go. This one is for you, Mr. Chairman. This is showing you the existing conditions if you're exiting the airport. So you're exiting Patrick Henry Field. What you see on the left side of your screen is traffic that's going to go northbound. That right turn lane stays as it is. For traffic that is going to go straight across Jefferson, you've got 2 lanes that will go straight across. For traffic that is taking a left and going southbound, there are 3 lanes. That currently exists, and all of that is remaining to be able to exit from the airport.
Didn't answer it. Back to my question.
Okay?
I'm traveling north, I'm taking the exit going toward the airport, which is that right? Mm-hmm. It's a 1-lane road.
Yes.
Coming to the, I just want to get fuel,
Yes.
and I'm going toward the proposed fueling stations. What are we doing there to widen? Because now I got to make a right turn into Costco to go to the fueling stations. That's what I'm concerned about. Are we going to have a pull off there, or it's not shown here? To get me off of Bland now, because Bland is down to 2 lanes heading toward the airport.
Correct. Correct. We are not widening it, but what we are doing is moving the existing curb cut for traffic that's coming out of the airport, okay? So if they're trying to turn left into Costco, and we're trying to turn right to go to the fueling station, we're moving that curb cut closer to the airport to help take that traffic farther away from the intersection at Jefferson and Bland.
Okay.
And then the driveway to get into those fuel pumps is farther back from the current driveway, again, to keep the traffic farther away from Jefferson and
Okay.
Bland.
All right. Can you, next on your little artsy craft, can you show that the next
Yes,
time?
I can do that, yes.
If you don't mind. It's
No,
just-
absolutely
it's
not.
just for me, I'm special.
Sure. Saul did mention about the compatibility of the project with the One City, One Future Comprehensive Plan. One of the priorities, as you all know, is a prosperous and resilient city, and one of the ways you get there is to collaborate with business leaders and employers to retain existing businesses in the city. And I shared with you very early on that Costco did not want to leave Newport News, but as we've all seen from the comparison in the sites of new and relocation, it's just no longer feasible for them to remain where they are. And another priority that this project will help fulfill is a sustainable city, seizing opportunities for sustainable redevelopment. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any more questions.
Thank you so very much. Any questions? Yes.
I have a rhetorical question.
Yes.
So really, the parking, there's sort of a ring road that goes in front of the existing Ferguson buildings off of, I'm going to call it that, where there's sort of a drop-off loop in front of the existing headquarters. That's really where the parking's starting.
Correct.
Yep.
I mean, it's pushed back.
Yes.
Everybody understand that?
Away from the
Yeah,
street.
yeah.
Commissioner Dias.
Thank you, Ms. Carney, for the presentation. It was great. And kudos to you, staff, as well as the engineering team to make sure that we mitigated traffic concerns with this development. I think you alluded to the work session that we did, or staff did, make contact with PHF. I'm under the impression that there were no concerns communicated by PHF that need to be considered in this.
That is correct. There was a brief presentation made to PHF. Site plan was then rendered to council for PHF to get them to sign off on the fact that this would not inhibit any avigation easements that exist. And the PAC did agree that that is the case and had instructed council to put that in writing to send back to Costco.
Okay, great, thank you.
Great. Yes, sir. Commissioner Bowden.
Mrs. Carney Smith, question about the rear parking. So the improvement obviously takes care of the front sort of 3 parcels, but Ferguson would retain the rear parcel and the right parcel. Is that rear parcel intended, obviously once the improvements are complete, there's a landscape buffer behind the building. Is that rear parking lot to remain or to be removed, or what is the future of that parcel?
So you're referring to surplus land 2 at the back of the building?
Yes.
That's currently shown as parking lot? Yes. So right now, it's just planned to sit in its current condition until such time as we find a user for that.
Okay. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Thank you so very much, Ms.
Thank you,
Carney.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
How would they get to it?
All right. I'm sorry?
How would they get to that parcel?
All right, the matter now is I'm going to close the public hearing on this item, and now the matter is before the commission.
Commissioner Taylor, I move that conditional use permit number CU 2025 Tech 003 be approved with conditions as recommended by staff.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Please call roll. I'm sorry, is there other questions and comments?
No, just a quick comment is that one thing with this project, it seems good, but there's two issues that probably would need to be resolved. And I'm just saying this out loud as part of public record. Number one, if Costco is going to make this with the traffic situation that happens on Jefferson, and those who go up there know, now you got Sam's Club, Sam's Club, Walmart coming in. Now you're gonna have Costco also coming off of that on-ramp with Kiln Creek. Really need to make sure that we are committed to doing that new interchange so that people can go from Denby and come back down. The second thing is what we're gonna do with the property, the airport as a whole, because again, this is gonna cause a lot of traffic in that area. So it's gonna be important to know what we're going to do with the airport, if it's going to continue, if it's going to grow, if we're going to shift it to something else, because now you're putting a lot of traffic into a two-lane highway, depending on what we do with that property. So I just wanted to put that out there as part of this. But otherwise, I love the project, and I appreciate Costco for hearing our concerns in work session and immediately making some improvements to make sure it was done to the best of the ability for the city. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your comments, Commissioner Williams. Okay, with that being said, any other comments?
I would add to that, Commissioner Williams, my biggest concern was the landscape buffer and just
Yeah.
creating, over 700 parking spaces, just an asphalt desert.
Yes.
Excuse my French, between a major intersection and a pretty industrial looking building, and the fact that we've almost, at least from quick review, 3x the amount of density in that buffer. Thank you, Ms. Carney Smith and your team. I think that, to me, that is a big selling point.
Thank you. All right, thank you. With no other further questions or comments, please call roll.
Commissioner Bowditch,
4.
Commissioner Woodard,
4.
Commissioner Michelle,
4.
Commissioner Williams,
4.
Commissioner Shook,
4.
Commissioner Stossel,
4.
Commissioner Dias,
4.
Commissioner Black,
4.
Commissioner Taylor.
4.
Motion unanimous, 9-0.
This matter will be held by City Council on June the 10th, 2025. Thanks, everyone, for coming out for this item. The next item on the agenda is the special exceptions. And special exceptions 2025 TAC 0007. And I apologize ahead of time if I mess your name up. Abandon O. and Jaguri and Attorney Chester. This will be presented today by Eli Zarka, our planner. All yours, Eli.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
So this is an application by Abadan Ojagede and James Anthony Chester, applicants and owners, to construct a 2-story, single-family attached dwelling on a non-conforming lot of record with less than 50 feet of frontage. This particular property is located at 1243 26th Street and is approximately 0.086 acres. Here is an aerial of the property with the particular property highlighted in yellow. To the north, there are single-family homes on properties zoned R4 single-family dwelling, as well as to the south and to the west. To the east are vacant properties on a parcel zoned R4 single-family dwelling. Here is the zoning map of the property. The property has been zoned R4 single-family dwelling since the citywide comprehensive rezoning in 1997. All of the surrounding properties are also R4, as you can see. Section 45-3204E.2 of the zoning ordinance states the Board of Zoning Appeals may grant a special exception to improve a non-conforming lot of record having less than 50 feet of frontage, provided that it meets the following requirements. A, the single-family dwelling shall be 2 stories or of similar design to adjacent structures. The proposed dwelling will be 2 stories with a front porch of similar design to the adjacent single-family homes. B, the front yard setback of the single-family dwelling shall be the average of the setbacks of existing buildings on the block, but not less than 10 feet. The proposed front yard setback will be 12 feet to the covered front porch that projects into the front yard, which meets the average of the block and the 10-foot minimum front setback. C, the minimum side yard setbacks shall be 5 feet. The proposed side yard setbacks are shown as 5.2 feet, meeting the required 5-foot minimum setback. Point D. An attached or detached garage shall be provided. However, if the garage is attached, it shall be attached on the side of the dwelling and recessed 18 feet from the front of the dwelling or attached in the rear of the dwelling. An attached 1-car garage recessed 18 feet from the front is proposed, meeting the 18-foot requirement. And E, the proposed dwelling is in harmony with the appearance of the surrounding properties and does not create a harmful impact on the neighborhood. The proposed single-family dwelling uses prevailing architectural materials. Similar to the surrounding homes on the block, it will have a covered front porch, siding, rectangular windows, and an A-frame roof, which faces the street. While many of the homes on the block do not provide garages, the adjacent home has a curb cut and driveway space. In conclusion, the proposed house meets the proposed request to construct a 2-story single-family dwelling on a non-conforming 37.5-foot wide lot meets all applicable criteria stipulated by the zoning ordinance. Staff recommends that Planning Commission recommends to the Board of Zoning Appeals approval of special exception SE 2025-0007 for the construction of a single-family detached dwelling on a non-conforming lot of record having less than 50 feet of frontage with 10 conditions. Those conditions include the applicant shall submit building elevations, including exterior building materials and colors, to the Department of Planning to be approved by the Director of Planning prior to the issuance of a building permit. The first floor, front facade, base, and steps of the structure shall be of brick veneer. The first floor, front facade, and the base of the structure shall have a brick veneer, and the front steps shall be of brick material, as well as all other standard conditions. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Okar. Any questions for Eli?
So you said the front face, the front facade will have brick veneer, or you're just talking about the base?
Base,
The base.
Because that's not what you said up there.
yeah, it's the base.
Okay.
Apologies.
Because that's not what you said up there. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Any other questions?
The parcels to the right of this property are both unimproved, is that correct?
Yes.
And the parcel immediately to the right would that be considered a double lot, or?
I will
Immediately to the right.
quickly go back
It's a big
to
piece of
it
property.
for.
Yeah, to the big.
I don't know if the internal lot lines may still be there, so I'm not sure if it is actually a double lot or if it's just one owner of multiple parcels. I have the map pulled up here. We are not showing the internal lot lines, so they may still be there.
They have it as one big lot.
Right. It's
On
just-
here, on here, you have it as
Yeah.
one big lot.
Yeah.
Yes. Two other ones beside it.
It could be someone, like you said, one single
One
owner.
owner.
We're obviously here to talk about the lot being addressed today. I just did not know if, irrelevant question, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Any other questions? Okay, let me just redo something real quick. Let me open the public hearing. Thank you very much, sir. Let me open the public hearing on this item, this special exception. So there I have 3 cards on this item, and 2 of them are for by the applicant. So I will go with Mr. Chester. If you wanted to speak, please come forward. No, sir? Okay.
I have a question.
Mr. Chester, when you come forward, please state your name and your address
James
for the commission.
Chester.
You gotta come first, so we're recording everything.
James Anthony Chester,
And your address.
22 Lynn Haven Drive, Hampton, Virginia.
Questions?
My only question, can you speak to the materials that you use to build your home?
Can we speak to him?
What type of materials do you use to build your homes typically?
Well, wood, brick, mostly laminate, basic homes.
Nothing
This is
special?
our first one.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
What's the exterior?
Exterior is
Brick
going to be brick front veneer and vinyl siding.
Okay. Okay. All right, any other questions for Mr. Chester?
Sir, I have to say I like the T-shirt.
Okay.
The parcel to the right, do you own the parcel to the right as well, or no?
No,
Okay.
we like to own it.
Sir?
We would like to own it.
I think once this airs, somebody else is gonna be liking to own it too.
Right.
Any other questions for Mr. Chester? Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, thank
The next item is the applicant, Mr., I'm not gonna screw your name up, but please come forward, sir, and state your name and your address if you want to.
Mr. Jeggedy, 30 Gunter Court, Hampton, Virginia, 23666.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right.
Any question for Mr. Jeggedy? Hearing none? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. These are the next question, the next quote I had is for Ms. Wright. I'm sorry, ma'am. You don't, okay. She yields the floor. She doesn't have anything she wants to say. With that being said, I'll close the public hearing, and the matter is now before the commission.
Commissioner Taylor, I move that special exception number SE 2025 TEC 0007 be approved with conditions as recommended by staff.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Any other comments? Please call roll.
Commissioner Woodard,
4.
Commissioner Michelle,
4.
Commissioner Williams,
4.
Commissioner Shook,
4.
Commissioner Stodchill,
4.
Commissioner Dias,
4.
Commissioner Black,
4.
Commissioner Bowditch,
4.
Commissioner Taylor.
4.
Motion unanimous, 9-0.
This matter will be heard by Board of Zoning Appeals on June 17th, 2025. Thank you. And back to Mr. Zoko. The next item we have before us is special exception 2025-0008, Ithaca LLC and Ella Homes Incorporated. And that'll be presented by our planner again, Mr. Eli Zarkar.
Hello again. This is an application by Itzak LLC and Ella Homes LLC as the applicants and owners to construct a 2-story single-family detached dwelling on a non-conforming lot of record having less than 50 feet of frontage. This is the particular property located at 1129 25th Street. The property is approximately .086 acres in size. Here is an aerial map of the property with the subject property highlighted in yellow. In all directions, there are single-family homes and vacant properties on properties that are zoned R4 single-family dwelling. Again, here's the zoning map showing that zoning and uses. The property has been zoned R4 single-family dwelling since the citywide comprehensive rezoning in 1997. Section 453204E, point 2 of the zoning ordinance states, the Board of Zoning Appeals may grant a special exception to improve a non-conforming lot of record having less than 50 feet of frontage with a single-family detached dwelling provided that it meets the following requirements. A, the single-family dwelling shall be 2 stories or of similar design to abutting structures. The proposed dwelling, the abutting homes are 1-story infill structures built in the 1970s and a 2-story structure built in the 1920s. The proposed dwelling will be of 2 stories with a front porch of similar design to the adjacent 2-story single-family home. B, the front yard setback of the single-family dwelling shall be the average of the setbacks of existing buildings on the block, but not less than 10 feet. The proposed front yard setback will be 10 feet to the covered front porch that projects into the front yard, which meets the average of the block and the 10-foot minimum required setback. C, the minimum side yard setback shall be 5 feet. The proposed side yard setbacks are shown as 5.1 feet, meeting the required 5-foot minimum setback. D, an attached or detached garage shall be provided. However, if the garage is attached, it shall be attached to the side of the dwelling and recessed 18 feet from the front of the dwelling, or attached in the rear of the dwelling. An attached 1-car garage recessed 18 feet from the front of the structure is proposed, meeting this 18-foot requirement. E, the proposed dwelling is in harmony with the appearance of surrounding properties and does not create a harmful effect to the neighborhood. The proposed single-family dwelling uses prevailing architectural materials. Similar to the surrounding homes on the block, it will have a covered front porch. It will have rectangular windows, an A-frame roof line that faces the street, as well as siding. While neither of the adjacent homes provide a garage, one does have a curb cut and driveway space. And the newer homes on the block do actually have driveway spaces and garages. In conclusion, the proposed request to construct a 2-story single-family dwelling on a non-conforming 37.5-foot wide lot meets all applicable criteria stipulated in the zoning ordinance. With that, staff recommends that Planning Commission recommend to the Board of Zoning Appeals approval of special exception SE 2025-0008 for the construction of a single-family detached dwelling on a non-conforming lot of record having less than 50 feet of frontage, with 10 conditions that include: the applicant shall submit building elevations, including exterior building materials and colors, to the Department of Planning to be reviewed and approved by the Director of Planning prior to the issuance of a building permit. The first floor front facade and the base of the structure shall have a brick veneer. So this one is written correctly. And the front steps shall be of brick material, as well as all of our other standard conditions. Are there any questions?
I have one quick question, Mrs. Okar. You state 10 conditions. I'm just looking for number 10. And I may have missed it somewhere in my count, but I still have identified 9.
It's 9. It's 9.
You said that, and you said that in the previous presentation too. and
I
still-
apologize, yes. We changed one of the conditions
Yeah.
due to land disturbance changes.
Actually, what happened was that this particular lot already had a boundary line adjustment, not a boundary line adjustment, excuse me, a property line vacation plat that went through, and it was happening at the same time the staff report was being written. So initially, we had that condition in here, and then we removed it, so that's why, and I didn't catch it when I was reviewing his PowerPoint, so my apologies.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's only 9.
I apologize to you, sir. I'll redirect my issue to who it should have went.
And again, just to note the correction you said you have here on paper, the setback is not 3.75 feet, but it's 5.1 feet on each side.
Yes, the house is shown at the correct distance. The required setback shown on the survey is not correct, but that is part of why they have to resubmit that site plan to us
Okay.
to fix that correction.
I have a question.
Bring your mic up some, your voice goes down.
I have a question. You have a map there. The driveway is 17 feet deep, not 17 feet to the, average face. The driveway's 17 feet.
So the driveway, what he is pointing to there is the block average to the
Right,
actual
that's
face of
not-
the block.
It's the driveway.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's,
the math doesn't add up.
yeah, so
Okay.
he is going to resubmit this plot plan before he can get a
Yeah, the
building
driveway's
permit.
17 feet. Okay.
So the applicant's aware of these corrections that needs to be made. Thank you very much. Any other questions for Mrs. Okar? Hearing none, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. See you in a few minutes. I will now close the public hearing on this item. No, I'm sorry. Let me open the public hearing. I have one card on this item, and it's Mr. Stephen Hardy. Mr. Stephen Hardy, please come forward, state your name and your address, please, sir.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Stephen Hardy, 335 Locust Avenue, Hampton, Virginia, on behalf of Ella Homes.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Hardy?
Yeah. Mr. Hardy, can you please speak to the building materials you plan on using in constructing this house?
Yes, sir. So the exterior will, of course, be the brick veneer skirt. The siding will be vinyl siding. We're keeping in mind to be mindful of matching the materials of the block.
Okay.
But in general, it's vinyl siding.
Okay. Yeah, that is what, if you haven't gathered, that's one of Commissioner Williams' concerns is how these houses look and what material is being utilized, what
Right.
quality of material is being utilized to build these homes.
Well, no, that's all commissioners. That's
I
not
know-
just me, right?
I know, but you just happen to be bringing it
Okay,
up.
I just want to make sure.
It's
And
not.
We're keeping in mind also to, this will be our third and fourth project here in Newport News. And we're keeping in mind to probably incorporate hardy plank on some of them, but, just depending on the look of the block, that's what we're trying to stay consistent with.
Okay.
Is it also possible that you can upgrade the vinyl that you're proposing?
Yes, ma'am.
That's on record.
So I appreciate you coming before us this afternoon, and I appreciate Brian Meeks's plans, Meekin's plans. We've seen many of them, I think some from you, on other projects. But my only comment, and it's certainly not a requirement, but I just would encourage you. I think if you look down the block, you'll see many of the homes in the block have shutters on the front facade of each of the homes, and might be a nice added bonus to have shutters. They're obviously faux shutters, but the look of shutters on your windows might tie into the street block in an improved way. So,
Right.
just a suggestion.
And that's one of the things that we typically do is you use shutters. And like I said previously, we're just trying to be mindful of the, staying consistent with the look of the block.
Yes, sir.
So if, shutters are there, shutters is something we typically include.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Hardy? Hearing none, thank you very much, sir, for coming forward. Is there anyone up from the audience that wants to speak on behalf of this special exception? Hearing none, seeing no one come forward, I'd like to close the public hearing. The matter is now before the commission.
Chairperson Taylor,
Yes, sir.
move that Planning Commission recommends approval of special exception SE, TAC 2025, TAC 0008 to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Any other attaboys, anything, I'm sorry, any other add? Trying to get out of here. Any other comments? Please call roll.
Commissioner Michelle,
4.
Commissioner Williams,
4.
Commissioner Shook,
4.
Commissioner Stockhill,
4.
Commissioner Dias,
4.
Commissioner Black,
4.
Commissioner Bowditch,
4.
Commissioner Woodard,
4.
Commissioner Taylor.
4.
Motion unanimous, 9-0.
This matter will be heard by the Board of Zoning Appeals on June 17th, 2025. Okay, the next item we have is another special exception, SE 2025 TAC 0009. It's LLC and LI Homes. And again, it'll be presented by Eli Zalkar, our planner. Floor is yours again, sir.
All right. So again, this is an application by Itzak LLC and Ella Homes LLC, the same as the previous application. This is an application to construct a two-story, single-family detached dwelling on a non-conforming lot of record having less than 50 feet of frontage. The property is located at 1116 32nd Street and contains approximately 0.092 acres. Here's a picture of the property. Here is the subject property highlighted in yellow. In all directions are single-family homes and vacant parcels on properties that are all zoned R4, single-family dwelling. The property has been zoned R4, single-family dwelling since the citywide comprehensive rezoning became effective August 1st, 1997. Section 453204E.2 of the zoning ordinance states the Board of Zoning Appeals may grant a special exception to improve a non-conforming lot of record having less than 50 feet of frontage, provided that it meets the following conditions. A, the single-family dwelling shall be 2 stories or of similar design to adjacent structures. The proposed dwelling will be 2 stories with a front porch of similar design to the majority of the single-family homes on the block with A-frame roofs and front porches. The front yard setback of the single-family dwelling shall be the average of the setbacks of existing buildings on the block, but not less than 10 feet. The proposed front yard setback will be 10 feet to the covered front porch that projects into the front yard, which meets the minimum, the average of the block and the 10-foot minimum required front setback. C, the minimum side yard setback shall be 5 feet. The proposed side yard setbacks are shown as 6.3 feet, meeting the required 5-foot minimum setback. D, an attached or detached garage shall be provided. However, if the garage is attached, it shall be attached on the side of the dwelling and recessed 18 feet from the front of the dwelling, or attached in the rear of the dwelling. An attached one-car garage recessed 18 feet from the front of the structure is proposed, meeting this 18-foot requirement. And E, the proposed dwelling is in harmony with the appearance of surrounding properties and does not create a harmful effect on the neighborhood. The proposed single-family dwelling uses prevailing architectural materials. Similar to the surrounding homes on the block, it will have a covered front porch, siding, rectangular windows, and an A-frame roof that faces the street. The home to the west provides a driveway and garage, as do many of the other homes on this. Apologies. It will provide a garage, as do many of the other homes on this particular block. The proposed request to construct a two-story single-family dwelling on a non-conforming 40-foot wide lot meets all applicable criteria stipulated by the zoning ordinance. With that, staff recommends that Planning Commission recommend to the Board of Zoning Appeals approval of special exception SE 2025-0009 for the construction of a single-family detached dwelling on a non-conforming lot of record having less than 50 feet of frontage with 9 conditions that include the applicant shall submit building elevations, including exterior building materials and colors, to the Department of Planning to be reviewed and approved by the Director of Planning prior to the issuance of a building permit. The first floor front facade and the base of the structure shall have a brick veneer skirt, and the front steps shall be of brick material, as well as all of our other standard conditions. Are there any questions?
Yes.
I have a question with regulatory review for the front yard setback, because it says the setback of the single-family dwelling shall be the average of the setback of the existing buildings on the block, but not less than 10 feet. And on the survey, they say the block average is 14 feet 7 inches. So should it be that? I understand the 10 feet is the minimum that it could be.
You are correct. The average of the block is 14.7. The question that I had was where he's showing the 14.7
On the driveway.
is really,
In
well,
the
besides
driveway.
that the plot plan is incorrect.
Right.
The reality is sometimes surveyors look at the block average as the face of the physical house, and others look at the porch. So I'm not certain where the average is, and that's why we recommended that the plot plan be redone.
The math doesn't line up again.
Yeah.
Right. It's off 10 feet.
Right. So, but
Okay,
10
So-
is the minimum.
Right.
right.
So the driveway will be 18 feet.
Yes, the
It's
driveway has
proposed.
to be
And-
18 feet.
Yeah, because if you add the numbers up
Yeah.
again, it's off by 10 feet.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure zoning appeals will take a look at that for sure. Any other questions for Mrs. Okar? Hearing none. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I'll now declare the public hearing open. I have 2 cards on this item. Ms. Bonita Brown, please come forward, ma'am, and state your name and address.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You can pull that mic down. It flexes.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Bonita Brown. I live at 1114 32nd Street.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes. The reason why, to whom it may concern, the reason why building a home too close, mines raise a high concern for me. This is not enough space for additional home too close to place on that land. The reason why I purchased my home is because I had a unit and all other side. Hold on. I had to put it on my phone. Is it okay? Okay. Okay. Hold on. There is not enough space in additional home too close to place to the land. The reason why I purchased my home is because I had an additional unit. Also, I have a space on the other side of me. Having a home at close to mine will also increase the value of the noise. Unnecessarily closeness. I purchased my home because I like to have space, and I'm a very private person. I also have a job that requires me to get up 3 o'clock in the morning. So I don't want to have to fight off my sleep throughout the night just to be able to have a few hours of sleep, get up and get my day started.
I had a quick question. Oh, I'm sorry, you finished?
Oh,
ma'am?
sure.
I had a quick question. Your address, you said 1116 32nd Street?
The one beside it that they building.
I'm sorry, I'm only reading what's on the card, sir.
I'm sorry. I might have put the, my bad.
I'm talking
been
to
a
my fellow
long
commissioner
day.
here.
Oh, okay.
It's not, that statement was not directed to you.
It's 1114 32nd Street. It's
Thing.
next door.
Okay, I can understand you got confused, but because
Okay.
when I looked at it, it was
It's
like,
been a
okay,
long
it's
day
actually
for
the
me. I'm
plot that's
sorry.
got nothing on it. But
Yes.
thank you very much for clarifying
Are
that.
you to
no
the,
problem.
are you to the right or the left? Which side are you on the?
I'm to the right.
She's to the right, it's 14.
To the 1A building, 2022.
Okay, to the newer house.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the setback at that property?
5.
So it would give you 10 feet between the houses.
Correct.
Right.
But if I read the plan correctly, this is actually 6.3 feet.
Yeah,
Between,
Yeah.
about 11.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, ma'am, I'm sorry. I just wanted some clarification. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I don't.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions for Ms. Brown? Hearing none?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown, for coming
Thank you.
forward. Thank you.
Y'all have a nice day.
You too. The next card I have is Mr. Hardy again. Mr. Stephen Hardy, please restate your name and address.
Good afternoon once again. Steve Hardy, 335 Locust Avenue, Hampton, Virginia.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Mr. Hardy?
Yes. So, Ms. Brown, we spoke briefly.
That was going to be my first question, but go ahead.
Me and Ms. Brown spoke briefly coming in, and she spoke her concern of the new build being too close to her property because it's a vacant lot now. Just wanted to let her know, and also the Planning Commission know that we're open to addressing and resolving any concerns that adjacent neighbors or even the community of the block may have, resolving, any concerns they may have. I was
Well, with
also,
that being said, sir, and it's just in my mind, not to cut you off, but I had to. Does Ms. Brown have any way of getting in contact with you?
no.
Did
But-
you
but
by
I
any
can
chance
I can
exchange?
provide that.
Yeah, because this is now it's become public record, and she may have a question afterwards to talk to you
But
about.
yeah, that's fine. So I'll make sure I provide my contact information to her.
Okay, Ms. Brown, you heard that, right? He's interested in helping if you got any concerns. Yes, go ahead, Ms. Hardy, I'm sorry.
So yeah, I was just saying she's. I was also letting her know that unfortunately, down in this area, a lot of the lots are non-conforming. Meaning 50 feet or less, and in building new construction, kind of we're meeting what's required by the ordinances, and a lot of times that I guess affects existing neighbors that are used to having a vacant lot there. And now they're going to have a new construction that, kind of, guess, minimizes the free space.
You have the same condition right across the street.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
But
okay.
Any other questions?
Any questions for Mr. Hardy?
Yeah, so Mr. Hardy, knowing the concern of the potential neighbor, again, with your building materials, what do you use the type of materials that hopefully will kind of tampen down any noises? If you could speak to your building materials and how that would help in terms of someone being in close proximity where they may not hear so much noise coming from the house next door to them.
Right. So also, one of the things we're trying to look at in orientating the house, so with the garage, we're trying to maybe match if the adjacent property has a garage, to maybe put the garage so that they're side by side or vice versa. So as far as the plan, we're trying to orientate the garage to maybe minimize any noise impact to the adjacent property. Back to the materials, that's something we'll have to, maybe kind of look at going forward of what we can potentially use to kind of minimize, the noise.
With that being said, as far as materials concerned, on a previous case, you were willing to consider upgrading your type of siding?
Yes.
Would this go also with this one?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I didn't mention previously also, but we've taken note of the new construction happening down in the East End, and there's some very, very nice exteriors that we've seen. So we're trying to make sure, as far as our exteriors, that we're I guess as you may say, kind of upgrading it or just giving a look that's appealing, but also kind of matches the block.
Okay. All right, I have no more questions. Any other questions for Mr. Hardy?
I'd like to make a comment. I would like to encourage you to go to the hardy plank on the siding. There's nothing, I think, that makes a house look cheaper than the vinyl siding when it's aging.
Right.
And the hardy plank will look as good 20 years from now as it looks today.
Right.
If it's just kept painted, so.
Right. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Also to mention on that, we do also currently have some 50-foot lots that we're developing. And usually on the larger houses, the exterior look is a little enhanced. You know, some of it may incorporate a composite stone, so it gives you a stone look, the hardy plank. So we'll keep that in mind with these as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Hardy.
All right. Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Brown, for coming forward also. Okay, with that, is there any other ones in the audience that want to speak on behalf of this special exception? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. The matter is now before the commission.
Commissioner Taylor, I make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the planning department on SE to accept and move to zoning appeals SE-2025-0009.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Any other comments?
Just to make a comment, I want to appreciate Ms. Brown for coming and sharing your concerns. It was noted and definitely heard. And as you can tell, Mr. Hardy, I think, will be very diligent in trying to make sure that he will build and construct a home that will keep to the minimum things that you are concerned with so that you can get a good night's sleep. But we appreciate you bringing your comments. You are heard. I just want to make that comment.
And please do not leave without getting his information.
As a note of public record, I appreciate, as we had a conversation about the vacant lots, I appreciate homes being developed on the vacant lots. It is interesting that individuals purchase a home thinking that they'll have more space, but I do appreciate that homes are being developed that look like the community in a positive light on those vacant lots.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I'd agree.
Agree? I think we all are seeking the best for our community. So with that being said, I'll close the public hearing. I guess that we've already done that, and it's all been moved and properly second, so please call roll.
Commissioner Williams,
4.
Commissioner Shook,
4.
Commissioner Stachel,
4.
Commissioner Dias,
4.
Commissioner Black,
4.
Commissioner Bowditch,
4.
Commissioner Woodard,
4.
Commissioner Michaud,
4.
Commissioner Taylor.
4.
Motion unanimous, 9-0.
This matter will be heard by the Board of Zoning Appeals on June 17th. Next on the agenda, we have the Executive Secretary report by Ms. McAllister.
Good afternoon, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Board of Zoning Appeals last night approved the special exception for the McDonald's on J. Clyde Morris Boulevard for that expansion of a non-conforming use. And on June 4th, you all will hear the Camp Morrison rezoning. And I believe that's the only thing on your agenda on that day.
On the June 4th?
June 4th. And also just to make you all aware that the city is in the process of developing a strategic housing plan, which follows the housing study and a lot of the concerns that are coming up with the development on the smaller lots will be taken into consideration in the preparation of that plan, because we're getting more of the neighbors who are coming out and concerned because of the infill development.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you so very much, Mr. McAllister. Committee reports.
Regulations Committee met today, and we had initial discussions of vape shop regulations and changes to city code required by General Assembly, one of which we should see within the next month or so come before the Planning Commission.
Okay, great. Any other reports? Any other committee reports? Any unfinished business? unfinished business. Any new business? I would just like a brief reminder to remind everyone that I will be out at our next meeting. So I look forward to seeing you guys when I return. Any other new business? Hearing none? I'll declare this meeting adjourned.